Mossberg 22s. To say we have a soft spot for them here in the Mossberg garage is certainly an understatement. At one point a couple of years ago, a friend of mine referred to it as the Mossberg garage. What I love about these is that no matter how many of them you encounter, no two are the same. And it's that diversity that keeps me coming back. These models are so eclectic that beat up, seemingly worn out relics can often perform perfectly, while pretty, safe, clean looking, practically unfired examples call out for the most help to be brought back from the closet corner crypt. When we were first introduced, I felt I needed this rifle, pretty as it was, but as it turned out, it needed me even more. Let's find out why. Mossberg garage. Yes, we are back with the Mossbergs and their family of rimfire rifles. This time with the model 146 BA, made from 1954 to 1957. This is a bolt-action, tube magazine-fed rifle capable of chambering 22 short and long rifle ammunition as listed on the barrel. Why 22 long is omitted is anyone's guess. It has a magazine capacity of 30 shorts, 23 longs, if you want to break the rules on the barrel, and 20 long rifle cartridges. It has a 26-inch barrel and an overall length of 43 1/4 inches. Somebody asked about pounds and ounces once, that if I would be able to share that information. And I said that from now on I would do it. 7 pounds, 4.3 ounces. There we go. You ask and you shall receive. Its predecessor, the Model 46B, was made from 1935 to 1949. And in 1949 is when the 146 series kicked in with the 146B, which differed from this rifle only slightly, with a T handle on the bolt and a slightly different rear sight. These 146Bs were made from 1949 to 1954, when the round knob bolt handle was added and the rear barrel sight was changed from the S107 sight to the S137 sight. And this model, the 146BA, this guy right here, made from 1954 to 1957. Until the Model 346B took over the helm for the tube-fed bolt-action 22s in Mossberg's catalog. Check out my video on the 346BA to see the details on that rifle and their progression through the years. Got a bunch of these Mossberg videos up there. I may take the time to link them all down below, but hey, this gives you a good opportunity to pour through the channel. And not only that, right now, you're sitting there. I see a lot of YouTube guys ask this. I'm starting to understand the importance of it, but you're sitting there right now, right in front of me. Just go ahead and hit the like button for me. Go ahead. All right, let's take a look now. Let's take a look at this guy, starting at the front. Let's start at the front. Front is always a good place to start. It's where all the action happens. The Mossberg S101 sight. This is by far the hardest thing to find undamaged on these rifles. Even during normal use and operation, they're in danger of being damaged. You know, not just abuse, just use damages these things. And they are fragile beyond normal or fragility. Here's a couple of pictures of what you'll normally see when you buy one of these rifles. They're usually in just various states of being destroyed. But I was so lucky to get one of these things in absolutely perfect shape. I'm not saying it's rare to find them in perfect shape. It's just um, it's it's a rarity when you're finding rifles. Like, they're not rare where you can't go out and buy one of these if you want to spend the money, a whole sight assembly. I'm saying, but usually when you find these on the gun racks, they're the ones on the rifle are destroyed. So see if we could zoom in a little bit here, and I'll show you how cool this thing is, how it works. So on its side like this is how we're going to have to function with it, because I don't have the room to point it up or point it forward to be able to show you what you see down when you're looking through. But underneath here, obviously, is a sight blade. And along the side over here, there are other sight blades. And this hood is often missing. This hood, there's a little tab up front over here that you press with your finger, right? When you press that tab, you could slide this forward. But this is where, this is where a lot of the damage comes in, because you have to push this pretty hard. And if one of these is sticking up, it could get damaged. Or if that tab wasn't pushed down out of the way, you got to give this a good yank to get it off, right? Then once you get that off, you see here how I have like the globe sight up there right now. Well, this same tab, you could press this down, and you could now turn it to the side and pull up another one, any number of ones. There's 4 of them here, I think. You see them in there, different ones. This is a post with a ball on top, a thick post, a thin post. You could turn whichever one you want into play. I'm going to put this one back. You could turn whichever one you want into play. And then when you slide this back on, it holds the other ones down. You see the other ones, they're on the side, further out than where the hood goes. So the hood holds them down. The reason why I like to keep this globe one in here is because when this one is sticking out, see how far it sticks out from the side of the rifle, and it's easy for it to get damaged out there. So it's kind of like I put that one in there just to hide it and protect it. These other blades, they don't really quite stick up quite so much. And then right back in here again. This is where it could be difficult. I think it'd be better to stand it straight up. And then we go back in here again. We make sure that we're not catching any of them. And then boom, there we go. We're back in. I love this sight. When it's all together like that, it's so cool. Now it works obviously in conjunction with the rear sight. We're going to get to that. We got a little thing going on with the rear sight. We'll get to that in a minute. But while we're up here, let's take a look at this tube magazine. Look at the size of this thing. One of the longest that Mossberg offers terminates very distinctly way up here at the muzzle, holding 20 long rifle cartridges or 30 shorts. And these brass tubes can be brightened up and smoothed out with some oiled bronze wool and patches on cleaning rods, if you're careful. They could be used to clean both the outer tube, so you could use a rod with a patch to go in this tube and clean inside, and then you got to be careful down at the bottom for the follower. You don't want to slam into it. You don't want to like ram the rod in there. You just want to kind of don't touch anything near the bottom. Just go down and back up. You're just trying to clean the tube without hitting the lifter down there, any of the mechanism down there. And you could also use that rod by compressing this. This is an interesting follower too, right? Not what you used to. You used to seeing a little nub right there, and that's it. This one has the spring, and this is interesting. Doesn't look like it's going to work good, right? Works better than any of them. And look, see this? You kind of just shine this up a little bit. Don't go crazy. No sandpaper or anything nutty. Just like some really soft bronze wool that's oiled. And you just shine it up and take that tarnish off of it. That make it slide nice and smooth, And yeah, and you could run the cleaning rod in here as well. But again, don't push too far. Just go in around a little further than halfway, and that's it. You don't want to shove this spring down further than where it's used to going. And you got to remember that it's only 22 cartridges that are being pushed in there, and not a rod like that. You could put a lot more, you have a lot more pushing power with the rod, so don't go crazy, or you could tweak the spring, nice and gentle. The issue with these guys, right? These little, when you see these types of rod retaining hooks like that right there, they frequently get bent, they get cracked. You see them in gun stores, you'll see that. It looks like a crack developing there, but it's not. I looked really close. It's just a scratch. How it got scratched right there is kind of interesting, but it's not a crack. But that's where it starts to crack, right there. And that's from when you're loading, you open this up to enough to uncover this area. Always go in there with a little screwdriver and make sure that that's tight. Don't go nuts, but give that a little, make sure that's not loose. They loosen up frequently, and it's a hidden screw. Little trick right there. But the rod, you usually lift it up to here to load, and when it hangs like this, it frequently torques on that little tab right there. See how near the end it was? It's better to take it out completely to load if that's the case, or just be aware of it and don't let the rod torque on that piece right there. So what else we got? Let's zoom back out. So this guy came complete with everything. Sling swivels. This model has a barrel band halfway down the barrel. Most of these Mossbergs don't have that. That barrel band is loosened by this screw right here. Usually there's only one takedown screw on these guys right here, but this one has two. So be aware of that when you're taking it down. It has the plastic finger groove trigger housing here that typically shrinks. You can see there's a space right here in there with this little space. They typically shrink, but this one, pretty nice shape for for an original. What else we got here? The safety, interesting enough, has both the red and the green nubs, which are frequently missing. It has this nice Monte Carlo cheek piece stock right here with the Schnabel forend. And it has this really cool scope on here. So normally the Model 146A and the Model 146B, the sights are pretty similar. They both have the same front sight, the same S101 front sight. They're also both available right here in those two screw holes right there. Would pop out, and you'd be able to mount the S130 PEEP diopter sight. But this rear sight right here, I don't know if you can see it, but there's two holes right in there. The rear sight that's on this guy would typically be the S137 sight. That was the one that was replaced. There was a different sight on the 146A. Now, when I got this one, it came equipped with this Mossberg M4D scope installed possibly on there since new, as it is a period scope and the timeline matches. So now I ordered a replacement S137 setup, mounting screws and all. Haven't gotten it yet, and I was going to wait to get that to do this video. But this scope, I took this thing to the range, and this scope has such beautiful optics, and it is spot on. Plus, it's correct vintage, which is really nice. So I think I'm going to keep it on there. So a bit about these scopes, since I'm going to keep it on there, give you a little bit of info on it. These M4 scopes, Mossberg made these. There's a lot of research to try to find out if Mossberg made them or bought them from somewhere else. Mossberg made these in-house using Lenses supplied by American Optics from 1939 to 1952. This 4 series. So the 4 series, the M4 series from 39 to 52, there were 4 different series of them. An A series from 39 to 45, a B series from 46 to 48, a C series from 49 to 51, and this D series from 51 to 52. And the D series scope fits the 1954 to 1957 production dates of the rifle, and it has the correct mounts, and even this rubber eyepiece, which I needed to add a couple of loops of electrical tape onto the scope to tighten up its hold on the scope, but it's there. And the scope is, I gotta tell you, this scope is awesome. So let's, I gotta show you the coolest thing. Now that we got all that out of the way, takedown. So, you ever wonder what this bit was for in your, I got a Wheeler set, but there's so many of these different, like, gunsmithing sets. It's worth it. Get a gunsmithing screwdriver set. Definitely worth it. But this bit with that rounded, like, what the hell would I get that for? Well, this is like a rounded insert there to this. I mean, this is exactly what this guy is made for. So let's do some taking down. I got to show you what happened now. As cool as it seems, this thing is like so pretty. I got it for next to nothing. For what I got this rifle for, I could sell the scope and make my money back. So it wasn't like, these things are fun because of how cheap they are. The Mossberg rifles, in my opinion. That's part of the allure, is that you're not going broke, collecting these things like a cheap man's collection, because guns can get expensive, but these guys, you could have an extensive array, and it's not like you're sacrificing because they're not cool or something. They're freaking awesome, and for some reason, nobody's really paying attention. And the cost on these is just really not jumping up. You can get these things for $100, $150, $125, $150. Sometimes when they're all decked out, guys kind of realize what they have, that like, oh, this thing's really pretty, but nobody really cares, it seems like. So I bought this thing, I get it home, load the tube, right, with my, so here's what we're going to do the testing with. Our realistic snap caps. Realistic snap caps are just like real 22 rounds for this type of testing. If you're testing this tube, you don't want to be putting through like, it's people that are using wall anchors and be like, oh yeah, they cycle. It's like, you really need to know how the rifle's working. A messed up rifle will chew up plastic. It will chew up aluminum. It'll even chew these up if it's not working right. But I'm saying you want something these are so realistic, hence the name. But take a look up online. I'm not allowed to link anything like that anymore, and these guys don't pay me. And I gotta get another set of these. Colton, if you're out there, I know you watch my videos. Come on, buddy, hit me up. These things are starting to get wrecked. They're years old already. But look, the bullets don't fall off. The fake projectiles don't fall off. They don't fall apart. But I mean, when you're not cycling right, you do things like that to them. This is how you're adjusting your rifle and checking for function. It's going to bang these up. A round is really only made, these are real cases, so they're only made to go through the gun once. It just goes to show how good they really are. And of course, these rimfires, if you drop hammers on these, you're going to put, firing pin marks in them. But if that's the kind of testing you need to do to test the firing pin, then that's what you need to do. They are cheap enough. But hit them up. Take a look online. If you use coupon code MilSerpGarage, one word, MilSerpGarage, you get 10% off everything you order. They got all kinds of calibers. So I ran a bunch of these things through, right? And they would just, if I would open the bolt, right, they would all just shoot. The spring would just push them all out. So there's a few parts in here. I'm going to keep it really simple because I don't want to get crazy technical gunsmithing stuff. Not that, I mean, some guy would really tell me how this thing works, and probably I wouldn't know what he's even talking about. I'm kind of like halfway there with understanding all the stuff with these, but there's a cartridge stop that will prevent, it controls the rounds coming out of the tube. So when you have this closed, there's a round in there, something, here's the cartridge stop. I mean, you can see it down here. And it holds the round in there till you're ready, till you open, you're ejecting a round. Now that cartridge stop allows one bullet to come out. Then you have, and it's controlled here, it's controlled by going into the bottom of the bolt. There's like a slot, so the rim will fit right in there. Then you have what's called a lifter. So the lifter is right there. You can see the lifter right there. I should have a pointer. Do I have a pointer handy? I'll use this. So here's the cartridge stop. Here's the lifter. Lifter is right here. It's not going to move unless there's a round acting on it that's let by the cartridge stop. And you know what? I'm not even going to complicate it by getting into any other parts. Let's just work with those two parts. There was a problem. Now the problem was really interesting. Usually you'll have something broken. There'll be a piece missing. There'll be something bent, a spring that's busted, missing. These are the problems you usually encounter, a failure of some kind. This was different. This was something, it's one of the hardest things to fix when you're not exactly familiar with exactly how this is supposed to look. Somebody took this screw out right here. And I should have took pictures. One of my biggest faults on this channel is that when I get a gun, a new one, right, I'm in like a frenzy. And when I go over it and I fix something and I repair something, or I make a big channel, I go, oh, that would have been really cool to show on the channel. But even if I don't tape the whole thing, which can sometimes be boring, like an hour-long job of fixing something, I've tried to do videos like that. They don't work out well. People get bored like they are right now. But I should have at least taken some pictures. This screw right here was canted a little to the side, so I was like, that's curious. That it looks like something's going on here, because that's not even screwed in right. So these pieces, you can see this one screw holds in 3 pieces. It holds in this piece right here, this piece right here, which you see it kind of like goes through the uprights right here and actuates onto this part as a spring. And then there's this spring. It's got a pushing against here, and it's held in here. Well, this spring, this piece that's curved down like that to here, was upside down, and it was up here. But it fit in the stock, but it was up here. I could see a mark right here. You see there's like a little mark where it touches the metal, where it like wore a little spot right there. I saw that spot there, and I was like, this looks like it's upside down. So I'm like, now I gotta get some information. So I poked around. I found I forgot, I wanted to write the guy's channel down. I forgot it, but I'll link it. I'm going to link it here. I'm going to show you. This is his channel, and this is a still from a video. So I just watched the video. He was doing a video on something completely different. Like he was doing a video on like he had a bolt problem with his extractor or something. But in his video, I was able to take a look at this, and this told the whole story. And then afterwards, I did find a Numrich link. In my Numrich book, it didn't have this rifle, but online they did have it. And even online, I was able to find this Numrich picture right here, which showed me the same thing. And then I knew exactly how to put this all back together to make it function. Then I saw why it was even taken apart in the first place, because even though I put it together correctly, it didn't work, because this piece, this spring right here, was bent. So somebody had taken this apart and maybe cleaned it, and I'm thinking like a rag got hooked on the bottom of this right here, and it bent it. So when it bent it this way, he just pushed it back maybe, and then it didn't have any spring pressure anymore. So it would have needed to have been taken apart, re-arced with your fingers to bend it back. Then you put it all back together. It needs to push down this way. So it still wasn't functioning. It was the interrupter was letting one round out at a time, but that round would just sit on the bottom of the bolt and it wouldn't get lifted up to enter the chamber when the bolt was closed. So, but it would work if I took my thumb right here and pushed this, then it would work. So I knew this spring wasn't having enough oomph. So I just re-bent it with my fingers and boom, there you go. So let's get a couple of rounds in here. I don't know if you're going to really see much, but show you the my handiwork, the functioning. Now it functions. So I see why somebody took it apart. They took it apart because it wasn't working. And then I guess they forgot how to put it back together, or they couldn't fix it. Maybe they just brought it to a gunsmith with all the parts, and then the gunsmith couldn't fix whatever. Someone just shoved this screw through the hole in all three of these parts in any which way, facing any which way, just to get it back in the stock and get rid of it. And that's what I purchased. That's how I purchased it. So this rifle loves me now. I fixed it. So yeah, you could see, watch right here. Now that this round's pushing, see when I close, what does it do when I close? See how it opens up? See that, right? To let the round in. Okay. So it's going to be a lot of stuff flying all over the place right here, I'm feeling. So then when you open the bolt, it just came back up again, but it let one round out. Now it closed, so it's not going to let anything else out. So that round, you see it? It's allowed out the bottom now, out that tube. And it slides in a groove in the bolt. Now it's in a groove, but something needs to push it up in that groove into the spot it needs to sit on the bolt where the firing pin is. That's what that lifter does. So now that spring is going to actuate as soon as the bolt allows space right there. It's going to come up. Actually, so it does it when it closes, I suppose. I didn't notice that before. Anyway, that happened really fast. It's hard to make these actions work slow because you see how fast the bolt works when you're firing. I mean, it's almost like an auto loader if you could operate this thing. This ball, this angle to this bolt right here is so cool. It works really well. Anyway, you close on the round, bang, we fire. I'm not going to actually fire. And then when you open, you have this round here. It's ready now to be hit by the, see, now in order to extract this, I'd have to send it across the room and lose it. So I have to kind of keep my finger here, and it might block the other round coming into view. There it is, but it is what it is. I'm not searching for that. This rifle shoots him real far. So then when it ejects, the next round is allowed past the interrupter again, and there it is. And then as you close, watch that lifter. That lifter here is going to push. See, that lifter wasn't pushing. But now with the spring in the right spot, look at it come up, 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 right into battery. Boom. How cool is that? I love it. Another one that we have to protect from disappearing. And yeah, so there you go. That's how it works. And how many did I put in here? And I fixed it. What for? And yeah, awesome, right? Look at these things. Simple, yet awesome. Here on the scope, right? I forgot to mention I did scope. See that right there? Because I did a little research on these. Since now I had the scope on here, I'm going to leave it. I figured, well, make it part of the rifle video. You could undo that screw right there, and that plate slides back and forth, and that is connected to that lens. And it slides that forward lens back and forth, which will focus it. So if the ranges that you're using, your reticle is blurry. I'm not talking about the actual, what you're visualizing is blurry. Or maybe it does focus that. I thought it was just for the reticle, but who knows? It is an adjustment that you could mess around with. And there was somebody else saying that sometimes these, I didn't have to mess with the adjustment screws at all, but I could raise it up a little bit, but I'm not going to. Supposedly, these things get a little testy, and messing with them is no good. Like, you turn it, doesn't have much of an effect, but then when it's in your bag or you hit a bump and it's in your car, then whatever adjustment you made suddenly actuates, and then next time you shoot, it's in a different spot. But right now, it's been like this for so long, it's settled in, and it's only a teeny bit low. So I'm okay with it. I'm just going to leave it. But supposedly, if it hangs up like that, you could unscrew these two screws and jiggle this thing a little bit. Something like that. You look around online if you're having problems with yours. There is some information on this M4 scope as far as doing those kind of adjustments. And these are the original mounts. Pretty cool, right? Benson is the guy that did a lot of these patents, by the way. And you know what? I'm not even going to talk patents, because here's what I'm doing. I'm going to end all of the info questions you have. Just get this book, Mossberg, More Gun for the Money, this is the history of Mossberg and Sons by Victor Havlin and Cheryl Havlin. Mine is signed, although I am not Terry. I I purchased this, and somebody from the Mossberg Collectors Association ordered it from the Havlins. But if you go to Havlin, just look them up online, Havlin. Pretty sure they still sell this book. So let's get to shooting it. What can I say? It was absolutely perfect. No failure to feeds, no failure to fire, no sticky bolt, no ejection issues, nothing. Absolutely nothing. The magazine tube is a pleasure to load, a pleasure to operate. The bolt handle is in the perfect spot. The trigger feels fine. The eye relief on the scope is in the perfect spot. Everything about this thing feels great. I absolutely love it. That is the Mossberg. Back with Mossberg again. And I'll give you a little secret. Next video, it's going to be Mossberg, but it's not going to be a 22. And we love them. We love these Mossbergs here. And, you know, I told you, it really would be helpful if you liked the video. And I see there's some of you out there that haven't hit that like button. It's right there. It's right there in front of you. One little button. There you go. I know. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to be around with you guys to be able to, bring these examples to you. And existing on YouTube is getting harder and harder. But if they know people are watching, if they know people like the content, then they leave you there. They leave you alone. So, ladies and gentlemen, you all take care. We're going to see you all soon back in Mossberg land. And until then, stay safe.